Hey everybody. I just wanted to, hoping this will be a quick message. But the thing that God was revealing to me this morning, I mean, I've been over the past few weeks, and this has really helped me to grow tremendously in being able to let love back into my heart. Even love just in the way of like friendship or just love for things in general. Um, Going to New Zealand, it caused me to lose my awe, my sense of wonder, my innocence in essence, because so much after, I mean, during these past 18 months, um before and after New Zealand, honestly, it's funny, 9 months before, 9 months after. Well, no, I guess not quite. 7 months before, 9 months after. Anyway, it shattered me. It caused me to really call into question everything, who I thought I was, what I thought I was, and all of my illusions were gradually dashed one by one. And I came to realize this morning that illusions, there's this big movement in the New Age community saying all reality isn't really real, it's all just illusions. Okay? But we can't live that way. This is our life. We have to live our life. So if it's all illusions, though, there is a degree of truth in the whole thing of saying it's illusions. And I finally realized today what that means. The illusions are your perceptions. Knowledge is neutral. Events are neutral. They just happen. They're happening to all people and whatever, but it's your perception, your judgment, that makes it into your version of reality. So reality just is. Because we are spiritual beings here having a human experience, but that does not mean that our human experience is not real. This is very real, and we're here for a reason. Okay? It's not to ascend and get out of here, because if everything were perfect in the spiritual realm, why would we need to have these spiritual or these human experiences? Why would we need to descend into this dense state of matter unless it's to understand something? Okay? So we can't just negate reality. However, we can change our perception of how we feel about it. And so, for example, so then the next thing that came to me, though, well, in the Garden of Eden, we ate of the knowledge of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay? That means that before, knowledge just was. Everything was always there, but it was they said the blinders fell off our eyes and we saw for the first time. But we started judging. We entered into that state of judgment. And people hear judgment, they're like, oh, I'm not judging. No, we judge all the time. It's part of who we are. We have to discriminate between one thing or another. This is how we tell that, say, this is dark blue, this is light blue. That's a value judgment. We have to use these parts to describe things. Judgments are everywhere. And we walk around. We might say, look at somebody and say, ugh, I don't like that, or that doesn't make me feel good, or something like that. There's all sorts of things that occur all the time. You could say, does your body judge? Well, of course your body judges. Your body likes certain things and doesn't like other things. But the question becomes of how do you move past that state of judgment? Because it can become debilitating. You can, I can say from personal experience, I called it like OCD, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and it seemed like everything, it was just making it worse. What was going on? And things that I was fine with before, suddenly, oh, I can't do that because, or some story became attached to it. And I started avoiding things a lot more because I was like, oh, I don't want to be contaminated. So I get it. I get where this can all go, and this rampant judgment is not a good state to live in. Not at all. But you have to figure out what to do. So the second tree in the garden was the knowledge of, or the wisdom, the tree of life. So, with wisdom comes the ability to understand whether something is beneficial or harmful, and whether something will But the thing is with wisdom is it tells us, that there's a time and a place for everything. You can't just exclude a whole certain group of something saying it's evil, bad, or whatever. Everything has a place. God created everything. Not just some things. But we need to learn how to use it. So the final revelation that came to me today was because like I said, over the past few weeks, I've been listening to this song called Tell Your Heart to Beat Again I think originally by Danny Gokey, but I listened to it by Caleb Hyles. And I like that version a lot better. I really love Caleb Hyles' voice. But he actually reminds me of visions I've had of a brother that I'm missing. It's like I feel like I have a brother somewhere. And I feel like I have this family someplace else too, that I'm not really who I think I am. But maybe that's just me, my star, being like a star and being or something, not feeling like I belong here on Earth. But no, I actually do feel like I have an entire family that I don't know. And for some reason, anyways, the revelation was that we walk through life and you start awakening and you start to look at the situations and realize that there's deeper levels going on here than you originally perceived. You could do your shadow work. You can go deep into the whole thing of looking at other people's projections and then trying to defend yourself and set up your boundaries. And then you can go into the next stage, which I went into, where you start to see your projections and see what you're doing. And your shadows suddenly become much worse than anybody else's shadows, and you give them a proverbial get out of jail free card. Then you have to enter the next stage of shadow work, and that's where I entered when I came back from New Zealand. Because during the second stage of shadow work, you start to look at everybody's projections. Toward the end of it, you start to look at their projections as, what, this is teaching me something about myself. But in this is still the whole thing of, well, your shadows are worse than theirs. So they're teaching you something about yourself. So you're constantly using what is meant for poison to grow. Back to the amaranth plant. Okay, so with this next stage, though, you have to learn to love yourself. And you get far deep into this dark night of the soul, the shadow work and whatever, and you become super paranoid. It's like you really begin to wonder, and this is why I'm saying, like, over the past 9 months, I don't have any illusions. I do. I know I do. They're just deeper. But I really feel like I don't even know who I am anymore. Because who I thought I was just doesn't seem to exist. So you end up in this paranoia, this state of constant battle where it's like, okay, well, what's going to come next to shatter me? What's going to come next to break my heart? You start to look at every situation as you've got your defenses up. And it can become a rather depressing state to live in. When I first left Paradise, I said, love didn't exist. And then I spent 9 months trying to prove to myself that it did, but it just doesn't exist really in the way it should on this world, that the love we have is tainted love. Now, where does that come back to? I think I've finally proven to myself that I can find love, that it does exist. To tell my heart to beat again, though, I have to expect that there's this journey. I have to expect that illusions are going to constantly be dashed. Hopes are going to constantly be dashed. Because they were not built on a solid foundation of rock. They were built on the shifting sands. I can expect that. But that doesn't mean that I should allow that to take away my happiness. So, tell my heart to beat again means I might have actually fought my last battle. Never gonna know. But let's just say, hypothetically, I'm in a situation, like, let's just say what I was with Maleficent a few weeks ago. What if that was my last battle? What if that was the last battle I needed to fight in order to work my way through this valley of the shadow of death, which is what I call the dark night of the soul? Because I believe that I'm heading toward the Garden of Eden. I believe I'm heading to my paradise. So what if I fought my last battle, my last rock climb, but I can't even see it? I can't even see the Garden of Eden because I'm still so steeped in the judgment. I'm still so steeped in expecting things to go wrong. Around the next bend, there's going to be an ambush for me. So, what if, though, I told my heart to beat again? And I told myself, go into this as if this were the time you get back into the garden. This is the time where you find peace. This is the time where you find that unity with God. So yeah. Because if I go forward expecting something to happen, of course that's law of attraction, I'm going to pull that toward me, and life is always going to suck. However, if I tell my heart to beat again, and I say maybe this time will be what brings me the fulfillment, that allows me to continue to move forward, because even if it doesn't work out, I can learn my lessons and forgive and not allow those energies to stay attached to me. Because life is a journey. Honestly, I don't think we'll ever get to fight our last battle. But it's a battle for ourselves, a battle for our own heart, a battle to take away all these controls that are telling us who we can be, what we can do, and take it back. Own ourselves, own our heart. So the battle is really with yourself. All these other people are just players that have signed up to test you. Or they're being used by Satan to test you. And remember, God created Satan too. So all these tests, we need to, it's not rising above it in the sense of pretending like it doesn't exist. It's saying, I'm going to use this for my growth. So my heart can beat again, because within this growth, I'm going to find some happiness, some fulfillment, some love. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Bye. I love you.